Hey groupers, Merry Christmas. If you're getting together with your group this week, it's a miracle because we're all very busy. This week we looked at Luke chapter 2. I called it Joseph's Gift. Mary gave birth to a boy. Well, to get things started, I wonder if there are any dads in the group who delivered their own kids. And what were the circumstances regarding that delivery? I'd love for you to share that in your group. I've known some dads that have done that on the side of the road. There is no mention of a midwife in this story. It appears that Joseph did deliver Jesus, that Mary and Joseph together were the ones responsible for the safe delivery of Jesus into our world. It's always dangerous water for dads to talk about the delivery of their kids because there's not a lot that dads do, certainly more work for moms. But dads do something and we're really proud. When Sydney was born, the doctor handed me some scissors and said, cut the cord. I was very nervous. I got a hold of the cord. The scissors are the dullest things that I had ever been given. Kind of had to saw on the cord. And just as I got going, Sydney stuck her foot into the scissors. Let's be very thankful that she has 10 fingers and 10 toes. Well, I wonder others of you have stories about what you did as a dad in the delivery room. Luke tells us that Caesar Augustus issued a decree. First, his name was Octavian. Before he was Caesar Augustus, he was Julius Caesar's great-nephew. Octavian's sister, she was married to Antony. When Julius Caesar passed away, Antony and Octavian were named in Julius Caesar's will, and they were given some of the kingdom. Well, the problem is that Antony, who was married to Octavian's sister, became infatuated with Egypt's queen, the bewitching Cleopatra. And he left his wife to go and to be with Cleopatra. Well, the Romans didn't like this. A battle did ensue, a naval battle, which Octavian won, the Battle of Actium, and he became the sole ruler of Rome. And then he was named Caesar Augustus. Well, it also says, while Quirinius was governor of Syria. This piece of Luke is used sometimes for an untraditional dating of the birth of Jesus. And I want you to know that you can cling to tradition that Jesus was born around 0 BC. It is true that the first census that was taken while Quirinius was governor was taken in AD 6. In fact, that's recorded in the book of Acts, the 5th chapter, the 37th verse. There was a revolt that the Jews led because of that census. But that's too late for Jesus to be born according to tradition. So are there any options for us? Well, we know that Quirinius was a military leader. He was a general of Syria from 8 to 4 BC. So it could be that this word that's translated governor could be translated in the Greek to leader, and it could be that Luke is just referring to his leadership in Syria, not his governorship. But I really think a better option is the word that is translated first, the first census that was taken under Quirinius. That word is prote. We get our word prototype from that, which is probably why it's translated first many times. But the word could basically mean before. So it's as if Luke is saying that before Quirinius was governor of Syria, the census before that is the one when Jesus was born, which would date it very well if that was about 10 or 12 years before. Well, that's exciting. If you love history, well, it's important too, even if you don't love history, because there's such a thing that is called historical theology. In historical theology, it allows us to look back at history and to see the hand of God at work in some of the major pieces of history. Well, we see his hand at work here, bringing about Roman rule, so that for the first time in the history of the world, there was what was called peace Romana. And also we can date this because of Quirinius. I wonder about your own life, that you would share in group. When you look back on your life, when you reflect upon your life, can you give credit to God doing some work in your life that you weren't in control of? Claudia and I, we give credit to God for bringing us together. When I went to Bible college, when I went to Ozark Christian College, I had a girlfriend back home. We were in love, and she was going to follow me to Ozark a year later after she got some of her family matters settled, and everything was just going to be great. And when I got to Ozark, Claudia was a junior. I was a freshman. So she was way out of my league. She still is. But she had a boyfriend, and then she had another boyfriend, and she had another boyfriend. Someone as beautiful and as brilliant as Claudia gets lots of suitors. But it didn't matter because I was hitched. Well, this allowed us to become really good friends. And in the process of becoming really good friends, well, she stopped being so out of my league, and I started being a little bit more in the picture. And so the second semester of my freshman year, my girlfriend and I would eventually break up, and I would ask Claudia out, and the rest is history. But we see God doing some things in our lives that brought us together. I wonder what you see in that regard. Maybe it's romantic, maybe it's business, but share that. A little more history. It is safe to say that Caesar Augustus never heard or learned about Jesus. He died in AD 14, which means that Jesus' ministry hadn't begun. However, his successors in Rome did learn about Jesus. They did hear about Christianity, and they began to take steps to obliterate Jesus' followers, to obliterate Christians. But then, less than 3 centuries later, the emperor of Rome would be converted to Christianity. I wonder, what part of our world have you given up on God touching? Maybe you would share out loud. China's never going to change. North Korea's never going to change. The Middle East is never going to change. Does this history lesson give you any hope that God is in charge? Well, what do I like? I always challenge you to share what you like, and it's challenging in a story like this that we know so well. But I just love Joseph and Mary's relationship. I love that I see a love relationship and a commitment between the two of them. There is nothing, even a long trip when she's 8.5 months pregnant, that's going to keep them apart. And I think that's beautiful. I like that. What do I not like? Well, it is possible that there is rejection here of Mary and Joseph. When it says that there was no room for them in the inn, it's possible that that, again, was someone's home. I told you that in my message on Sunday. And it's possible that Mary and Joseph, because of the potential scandal that their families believed surrounded their relationship, virgin birth, go tell that to some fool. Maybe they didn't believe in the angel, and they didn't believe in the prophecy of Isaiah 7. And so maybe they didn't let Mary and Joseph in their home. I don't like that idea. Even if it was a scandal, I think that godly people should be forgiving people. Sure, we could disagree with people's actions, but we should not be rejecting people because then they will never change. I don't like that. Well, the application. I challenged you this week to take some time by yourself and to reflect upon the Christmas story. I imagine that all of us are going to be sitting around a Christmas tree coming up this next week, and we're going to be surrounded with a lot of lights and a lot of glamour and a lot of glitz and a lot of presents and a lot of pressure. It'll be easy for us to not be thinking about the real story. And so I've challenged you this week to take an hour on Christmas Day to go and to be by yourself, to get the story in front of you, to spend some time reflecting upon it. Maybe you would do that, not by yourself, but just with your immediate family, your spouse and your kids, and spend some time with the Christmas lights turned off and the presents put away, and talk about the gift of Jesus. Well, Merry Christmas. I hope that I see you this next weekend at one of our Christmas Eve candlelight services, but remember that 10 a.m. on Sunday morning is the one that really counts. God bless. Bye-bye.